Fabric of Our Lives was designed originally to simply be a series of fabric-based workshops accompanying my play, Three Mothers, which toured the UK in 2019. The themes of the play are forced migration, fabric and textiles, and women moving forward. We wanted to take these themes further than traditional theatre audiences and invite women, different women, to come together over the very familiar theme of home. Before we knew it, Fabric of Our Lives had taken on a life of its own.
My husband is from Jamaica on black felt because the felt
was here in 3 months.
I love presents. I love to give people who I love presents, and I said to him, I've got no money. I wish I could send you presents, but I can't afford it. And he said, even if you sent me a button, I'd love it. So what I did on every letter, I would sew a button onto the page. And so for over a year, he would get a button sewn onto every letter I sent him. So whenever I see buttons, I don't even think about it as a material or a fabric.
Home should represent flexibility, independence, and it should be a welcoming place for everyone wherever they move.
I think handkerchiefs are so personal and they're so nice and pretty, and the feel reminds me of home. That to me is home.
I love the
Is
fact
the
that
handkerchief.
Is the handkerchief.
I bring my small this long, and then the welcoming, the love of people, because I came as an asylum seeker, right?
Okay.
So the love of people, the way they welcome me, I never experienced this in Africa. Here it's really, people they are so lovely, like it's really different. Like
The double quilt for the bed. The focus is on migration.
Being behind the camera puts you in a privileged position. Although I miss many of the stories shared, or at least parts of them, I witness the little things we women do all the time. The smiles, the ideas, the connections, even the beauty tips shared during the short time we all spend together. Being an immigrant and a woman myself made me appreciate all those little things we do without realizing, all that we have in common that make us not so different from one another.
They left from Brussels on May 10, 1940, because the Germans had invaded at 4 a.m. They arrived in Calais, this family of 7, after days of walking on the roads of northern France, what my mother wrote in her journal as the most glorious May ever, with the most beautiful flowers. And yet, walking, they found a baby carriage at one point, put the grandmother in it, put the baby in the grandmother's lap, put a suitcase at the grandmother's feet, and my mother and her father took turns pushing until the wheels fell off one by one, and then they were back on the road.
I think I've come to appreciate that home is such a deeper concept than just country or building. Trying to create home for people that are homeless is also a challenge, and what's amazing here is this house used to be a place where we offered hospitality, which in our minds was, well, we will feed you and we'll give you a bed to sleep in, we'll wash your clothes. But since the new lot of families have come in, the lines between host and guest are now very blurred.
I wrote to 3 weeks. Hated it.
The women came into the Fabric of Our Lives exhibition space, and at that moment we all realised how far we had come over the past year. I think seeing their work, their portraits, their stories as part of a visual, tangible exhibition in the place where they live made us all feel the exact sentiment that we had started out with. The feeling of belonging, the feeling of home.
and this green bit is not totally
The person that
connected.
actually cuts the loops in the
I
velvet.
just tell you, I put a little on my hat with my velvet against the black with the red and yellow threads, and they make the Belgian flag.
So many different colors.
Yeah.
So I just saw it. I just saw the fabric. I said,
So we used to make these lovely rugs that you stepped on
Especially since we
when you
don't
got
live in
out of
New
the
Zealand anymore, and they're all here, I guess. Especially, I guess, when you have...